I don't even remember. I don't even remember. But we were fighting in Curry and GG, man. And there was a point where we were just super far ahead and we were winning every engagement. And then it just flipped, and I don't know what changed for them to start winning.
Okay, do you want me to go like anything over the early game?
Early games, not too bad. Like the most difficult part for that is getting through getting 3v2 out of mid.
Well,
Like I guess I have trouble like isolating whoever
basically,
I'm trying to fight without someone else coming into cut.
what you want to do is you communicate with your partner and try to push one side, so you're the ones pushing instead of them. Like I do here, pushing out Pookie, and that sort of keep like because we saw our diagonal was hitting them, so that keeps bot right out of the fight, and now we can push. And that's how you sort. And that's how you sort it with a diagonal. Overextension into orange.
Uh,
Okay, this is good. Here you want to pump into another speed. You've got another like finals or something.
Our allies' base is in need of protection.
Makes sense.
Yeah, this is fighting with the ally. Like that. That's how you sort of win the.
The early game, I don't have any problems. I don't think because it's just like most of it just feels natural.
Oh yeah, how do you react when you get cut?
Uh, uh, when I get cut, I guess it sort of depends on where they're cutting me. Like if they're trying to cut me, like where the rotor square is, I resupply and wait for my army to come back so I can get a good concave.
Okay.
But if they're cutting on my bunker, apply to the backside of the bunker and refill my bunker with Unibon
Yeah.
so they can't snipe them.
Something else you can do is sort of pre-split your army coming back, sort of greater like advantaged because you will have a concave, but often you think because they just run away. If you split up your army more when you're running back, you'll be able to take more as they run back. It's kind of hard to explain without showing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You really don't want to be fighting a diag here. Like this is a big.
Yeah, my thoughts there were my diag's coming up like there.
Yeah,
it looked like he was on a.
What you just do there is
It looked like
you're going to hurt each other by doing that.
What you're saying makes sense, but it looked like he was coming up to like try and cut someone, presumably my teammate, with the way he was like get out of mid, leave us alone kind of thing.
I think you're overextending a little bit there. Like you want to stay like even though it's an alright fight, it's not. And
that
your ally got hurt from that.
That nuke from yellow was so bad. He got half of Orange's army with it.
God, I've lived in the field. Okay, so what happened? Let me just rewind again. Okay, so you have, yeah, you're overextending again. Basically, your ride here is sort of too thin, and orange will be able to push up on it as soon as yellows. I think what would have been better is not disengaging by running to middle, it's disengaging by having your left side of the army run and your right side of the army fight.
I've done maneuvers like that before, but I got out of there without losing too many units, so I could re-engage.
Yeah. Yeah, this sort of bit rough. And it's also unfortunate because you're close to bunking. Like you necessary risk before so close to bunking. Okay, so now like we're on the 2v2 because of that small mishap earlier. You don't lost right now.
Well, I mean, right now the supply's not far behind.
Yeah, but
39,
it'll get
43.
a lot worse very rapidly, especially with this concave. And I think you need to stop. You need to stop the order to build the bunker, and you need to build a shield tower first. Much safer. Okay, you do. But yeah, okay. Oh wait, I think you need to wait till the shield tower is finished before you start a bunker. Because there's this window of opportunity before I put a dive on you.
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess my thought process at the time is if I throw up the
Yeah, and you see how like not having full supply because of that earlier in mids having like flow on effects. You lost the fight against us, and now you're
Complete.
it ends up working out because
towers are great.
yeah, and my ally ended up having to go. Oh wait, if you got like a temporary 3v2 that you guys were kind of screwed, and it's best to minimize that. So
Oh, I remember this game.
now you're in crisis management mode. Once you saw pink coming, you should have probably nuked that. To be honest, this is an excellent nuke. It's war pigs, and you get both bunkers up. It's worth it. I think.
Yeah, and
This as well.
the problem was I didn't think to nuke initially, and then by that point you guys were already pre-split on where our nuke wasn't going to do much.
You got to be decisive in your decision making. And again, this is a good nuke, but it's on Pookie to do this. Like throughout all of this fiasco, you've never been on full supply.
Yeah. Now we're barely on 40.
And it all came from that mid fight. So I think you need to stay in a much more defensive when you're close to bunking.
Yeah, this was the as soon as orange came, I needed to nuke, but
And
I
also,
remember this happening to
like,
my SCV got stuck in my bunker, and so it just kind of died.
yeah,
Died.
yeah. It's still to nuke to deny the 500, probably, and get like 800 as well. Now you got pooling.
Yeah, I think we'd end up doing that.
Like you guys should have identified who's gonna be the unit player this game pooling. Like you probably shouldn't have murked there before you've had that discussion.
Well, I kind of like Merc just because um, it makes the pooling a little bit stronger, so they don't fall behind. I still get some feed.
You've decided you're going to be the one pooling. Okay. Oh yeah. Now, okay. So now your diagonal is your diagonal weak and you're really weak. So now what you have to try and do is unbalance the game so the two diagonals and also somehow beat it, where you're in right now is kind of
Yeah, just if we get hit at the wrong time by too many people, we die.
Okay, so do you ever think about your direction in the middle game, like what you're trying to achieve through your fighting?
I guess not. What do you mean by that?
So, like, okay, take what we're doing right now. Like, we've decided Vaz is going to be the tank player, I'm going to be the unit player. We're going to... Okay, so we know of crippled you guys, so now we ideally want to get into a truce with our diagonal, but they're kind of strong right now. So we know we have like sort of a bit of room to maneuver before we get into that position to V2. And also another consideration I'm thinking about in this situation is they both are like they both don't have specialized roles. They're both sort of going army at the moment, so our score is going to be more efficient for them. So we might be able to take a more favorable fight against them. However, if we weren't in the dominant position like you're in now, what I would be thinking, I need to feed bottom right, but I also need to not die, and I need my diagonal to die as fast as possible. And so you should try and take fights with the intention of that happening. Maybe you guys should be fighting us so that bot right kills bot left faster, because they're the stronger team.
That makes sense. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I did that in a game a little bit, but it kind of fell off today. Like, I let my cross die because we got behind early, and then we built tanks and we were free to go take from either side because we were too weak for them to do anything about it.
And now you guys are in like bad shape. Once you see that you're able to freely dive on that should be sending alarm bells off on you. okay, diagonals hitting them, which means top left is. We need to scout what top left is doing right away. And that allows us to get the jump on you. And now you don't have time to set up shield towers or position. You're sort of cramped and on limited supply versus us, and basically your chances nuking us and one of the SCVs and hopefully killing it. But see, now look at the supplies. You guys don't really have a chance at killing this tank.
Yeah, the nuke came too late.
So, like, thinking about, okay, yes, you're in a crappy position, but you need to also realize when you're diving on your diagonal, what that means for the other side of the map. Also, if you throw turrets behind the tank, its pathing can get stuck instead of in front. That's just a little tactical trick. Probably was best to build that tank not there, but in the
in the corner.
Okay, so what we did there, because we sort of switched plans, because bot right was getting further and further ahead. What Roz and I did there was we sort of took more unfavorable trades against bot left, allowing them to get back into the game and take sort of an even fight with bot right, which gives us enough time to kill top right.
That makes sense.
So sort of manipulating the game state to our advantage. And see here now, bot left is able to fight right up on bot right. And also, by the way, taking those sort of unfavorable fights puts us in a worse position score-wise, which is excellent. Because we are probably the second strongest team on the map, but we're third in score. Now we're second in score after we take the bunker. But also taking that bad fight allows us to kill you without having our scores skyrocket to like 10k when we're just starting to kill you, thereby avoiding a switch and avoiding a 6v2. Yeah, here you guys don't have a lot of options anymore. Maybe Blue Pookie should stop fighting and start harassing bot right and hope that does something, because if you keep fighting us, you guys will just lose slowly. You need to change up the game state. Like, make a last-ditch Hail Mary play. And right now, what we're doing is we're waiting. We're waiting, and we're letting the bottom teams trade, and we're waiting till our score drops low enough relative to them that we can finish and not be in first place. that this is a really important thing to do when you're in a commanding position like this, and it'll help you win a lot more games from such a position. And what Roz does is he sets the tank up just out of range, letting us fight on basically equal terms and cut out some of the supply before we push on you guys. Pookie's army isn't really doing anything right now. So yeah, he should have probably been trying to signal to the bottom teams, even if it was futile. But like, if you just keep doing nothing, you're probably dead. No, you're definitely dead.
Yeah.
And like, even though that play might succeed in 10% of cases, that fringe 10% is what you're going for. That's what sort of boosts your win rate up 2 or 3%, because then you get a chance to go into the theory politic. Just little things like that. Okay, so now you guys are sort of out of the game. Switching over to our perspective. Again, we're just waiting a bit more before we kill you. This is not a time to sit back. This is a time to hit both right. Oh, I remember this game. Wait, is Panda diagonal? Yeah, Panda. Oh god. We got an amazing fight against them. Because again, they're not specialized right now. Panda's spent upwards of 2,000 minerals extra in upgrades compared to Roz. And they're both
an extra
not.
tank of upgrades.
And look how many bunkers I have compared to their unit player Oblivion. So already now, knowing these factors, we're already confident. Like, even with the score disparity, we're already confident we can win. Yeah, you guys are out of the game by the time. Probably nothing to do there anymore. Okay, so we're probably stronger than Butt Right. Even with a 3k score disparity, we're stronger than Butt Right. So we want to kill Bot Left as fast as possible before they realize this. If I was Bot Right, I would probably be pulling. Man, they're just so even. It's like they're really inefficient. They're going to have to be further ahead, and they need to recognize that. Like, if I was in Bot Right's position, I would be reluctant to finish here. I'd be scouting. Okay, so even here, so if you were bottom right, would you feel comfortable with your score advantage, knowing what they know, not knowing about like the extreme optimization of our build, which you can sort of tell, but not really? Would you feel comfortable going into this 2v2 right now?
Knowing what they know, have they seen your guys' tanks?
Yes, they have.
So, you guys have 3 tanks, you have rods, we don't. your tanks probably have splash, I assume. I'm assuming Panda doesn't. Like, score-wise, they would win, but no, I wouldn't be comfortable with it. Like, I'd definitely take Rotters or something first.
Okay, and an advantage you have when you have 2 nukes is that you don't need a scout like you do when you have 0 nukes.
Oh, they have 0 nukes? Yeah, I would absolutely not be comfortable taking that. There's no way I would take that fight.
It's sort of harder to notice when you're the player, though, in defense of Panda. But, like, what we've done here, we've switched over at the opportune times, manipulated our score by sitting back until it was much lower, and optimized our build so that we give them every reason to throw against us.
Yeah, you guys played it really well.
When, like, just sort of think about how you can manipulate the middle game to your advantage when you're in a commanding position like that, and you should like be able to take a good 2v2. Also, when someone dies, it's usually good to assess the situation.
Yeah, but by then it's too late, so...
Yeah.
Well, at this point.
Also, I think Panda was a bit hesitant here. If he was hesitant, he should have built a shield tower and made it at the very least. Like, at the bare minimum.
Yeah, and then there's 3 tanks with splash rolling up.
And, like, looking at the infrastructure as well, I have 3 more bunkers than them. No, 2 more bunkers than them. Or us as a team. Like, because Voz's units are still useful as meat shield. Something we also do is share control, so Roz can put a unit in my bunker while I'm microing, and I can micro Roz's tanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bottom right's big mistake was, like, they went to kill us, and then they immediately went for the 4v2 on bot left. They didn't scout you guys or anything.
Okay.
They just were like...
Your leader. If you want to show me that game.
Which game? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, I think this is it.
And make me lobby host when you...
Alright.
So I can close. Oh yeah, one more thought about that last game. Notice how your team was always basically in the 2v2, in the 2v2 situation. We were the ones dictating the flow, and you guys were sort of responding to the flow. It's almost always best to dictate what team you're going to fight, or make an attempt to.
I completely agree with that, but it's hard to do when we fell behind as far as we did. I think you're 100% right, but I'm not sure how we could have done it in that game.
Or maybe, like, just... Yeah. Okay. The problem here was you weren't engaging with your diag enough. Like, not engaging, responding to what your diag does enough. Let me go back a bit. When do you get... You, like, taking control of the watchtower for a very short period is crucial in this early stage of the game.
Just to see what's going on.
Yeah, you shouldn't engage here. You should do what they're doing. Because, like, when we engaged, we saw our cross was engaging with them as well. But here, you guys are sort of at a disadvantage now, positionally. You're sort of out of mid. They're taking control of the watchtower. So this is good. That's all good. That was bad. When pink comes to support us ally, you guys should pull back and take your advantage. Now they get to push you out because you didn't retreat. Yeah. That's sort of on Jack more than it was on you, though. But you could still communicate that to him. And now, you need to get back into the fight as soon as possible. Help your diag out, because now it's kind of starting to snowball. Because your diagonals are sort of working together better.
Yeah.
You don't need to run that far back. Something that can help to sort of get you back in the middle is send 4 Marines in a separate hotkey to cut their resupply. Middle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I do that sometimes to snipe SCVs, but
Well,
I haven't thought of...
sniping SCVs is... It's like, it gets you ahead in the trading, but it doesn't get you ahead in position. And position is what's important right now, in the early phase. I guess this is just bad.
Yeah, I've forced myself into a bad fight.
Never force fights. Like, it's easier said than done, but try, like, when you're laying. To have the fights, like, come naturally, not try and sort of think you can out-micro them, even if they have an advantage. Because it's much easier to out-micro someone from an even position than it is from a worse position. Yeah, again.
Yeah, I backed out of mid too far and then tried to re-engage.
Also, you're not splitting up enough there. Because you're sort of in a bull formation. Like, what I would be doing right now is I would be cutting Pink's resupply in a sort of more line. Like, this sort of formation. Again,
At that point,
you made the same mistake three
Yeah.
times in a row. You have to
yeah, but see, this time was different because the plan was to have Drac keep pushing, and then he pulled back and we couldn't push him.
Okay.
Like, this time was like, yeah, we're gonna have like 30 supply on him and push him out of mid. But then Yellow came and Drac
Yeah,
backed off
better.
without saying anything.
When you do that, you need to be both on the mic at the same time, coordinating it. Yeah, that's rough. Okay, yes. Okay, now you're fighting with Drac, but if you didn't have Drac, you just stop fighting, pull back till you get back to 50 supply.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys need to disengage right now. This is a bad fight. They have position and supply advantage on you. If Panda was on the move and pulled back his resupply.
I think that's underscore.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's underscore. Panda's observing.
Yeah, this is excellent. But the thing about this is you're really prone to getting nuked right now. Once you see that they've collapsed, you guys have to split up as fast as you can. Because this is just begging to get nuked. Pink doesn't do it for some reason. Like, oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, this is excellent, but very risky. Let me back up for a bit.
Yeah, there was a key point as we were coming out of mid. If Pink uses nuke, then we're just kind of screwed.
A bit early on. Okay. Yeah, this is about here is when you start going down towards their bunkers and Jack keeps following the army. Both of you don't need to follow the army. Yep.
Like right here, if Pink nuke that coming down, we're just screwed.
That's like something you need to identify on the fly. Because, like, say if your army was where Light Pink's furthermost war pig was, it doesn't make any difference. They're still completely screwed. But this time, if they nuke, it'll be 50, not 100 kills.
Yeah.
This is very smart play by you, splitting off part of your army to get off the resupply. That's really good.
Yeah, I was kind of worried after I saw it the first time. I was like, oh yeah, they have nukes. We should worry about that.
That's sort of borderline what you did there. It's sometimes better to just reroute your resupply back behind your bunker. That was risky. Like, say if Orange was there as well, you guys could have gotten cut off. And not just cut off with your main army, like cut off with your resupply, meaning your hard reset, not soft reset. Good fight. Drac could pull back a bit. I don't know. I guess he had upgrade advantage. He didn't need to pull back. Bold play, I like it, considering what you guys just did to bot left.
Yeah, that like this is one of my favorite times to do it because it's like cool. We're in a 2v2. Pinks are 2v2ing. We just wiped our 2v2's army. Like this is probably the superior example.
Pull back to your shield. Just pull back to your shield, and you didn't need to lose that with those 15 Marines. Like there was no sense in fighting with that.
Yeah, I think we end up having to nuke here because I took a bad first engagement.
Always pull back to your shield in that situation.
Oh, this was 4 bunkers to 2 as well.
Yeah, so it's even more critical to hold supply. Also, in this situation, because if they were smarter, they would have split up. It's probably best to tell Drac to Merc here, actually. I guess you guys got a nuke, but that might not happen if you guys were versing a stronger team. Well, or rather a team that split up, not a stronger team.
Yeah.
So it's probably best to tell Drac to Merc to start off your contingency plan straight away, and also give a bit of extra firepower. But yeah, now I can make a bunker. That worked out for you guys. We make shield. Yep. Don't stutter in like that. You're trying to force a fight you don't have to, and you lose your supply. You guys could probably make a shield in middle here. Marauders versus no Marauders is just so obnoxious in the early game.
Yeah, I end up making a shield tower in the second rod spot.
That's good as well. Yeah. Here I would tell Drac to stop upgrading. And Merc his Reaper bunker and start saving for a tank right now. Like, stop upgrading. So you guys can start to optimize your army.
Yeah, we eventually get to that point, but
like,
it took us a little
right
longer.
Now is the time to do it. Merc your Reaper and retire your Marine like much later in the game, and it's the most efficient thing built in the game, basically. And you, as soon as you get Vordas, your next 700 minerals, unless you have to make a shield tower or something, has to be concussive, then Merc. All upgrades.
Merc?
Yeah, Merc as soon as possible. So you get extra armor and health in your Marauders. It basically makes them unkillable to Reapers. Yeah, these upgrades right now need to be on the Merc for your Wards. Okay, so you guys are in first place, dominant position against top right. Here's when you start to think, how do I stop the snowball effect of score while still keeping top right weak? And the answer is a tank. I think. These shield towers are kind of inflating your score, is the problem. I wouldn't have built these extra shield towers, because you're going to lose them eventually, and it makes you further ahead. Like, I'd be starting to get a bit worried about your score, if I were you. Like, no, don't take that feed from your dag. You want your dag to get up and score as fast as possible. Also, you should be fighting the Reaper player, and Drac should be fighting the Marine player. Even if you guys have to switch multiple times to do it, like, you shouldn't let... Like, what? Why did they do it for you? That makes zero sense. Yeah, now that you're fighting in the... Okay, don't stutter in like this. Especially
Yeah.
Because you don't need the extra score. What you want is a score disparity between you two, but not a score. But, like, not more score. And now that's kind of catching up to you, actually. Oh, okay. That bunker right now, that should have been a tank. 100% should have been a tank. And you need a merc.
Oh, yeah, from Drake.
And you need a merc. Because right now, Digiman's Reapers can fight against your Vorders, sort of. Not really, but, like, sort of.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned about beating them because we were so close. That right there, can you pause it really quick?
Yeah. Oh.
That moment right there, where...
Back too far.
Oh, that wasn't a pause. That moment right there was actually a kind of crucial mistake because Drac sent like 500 minerals to me to merc, like right as I was upgrading, and it all ended up going to upgrades instead of merking.
Well, you should have merked as soon as you made the hood.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Also, I'd also be considering pulling Drac for a tank right now, because you guys have to get a tank to convert your Rotor advantage into something that would be, like, lasting, like killing a bunker damage, because this structure right now, the top Marine bunker is very vulnerable from yellow. If you put a tank on the top like we did to you guys, and kept your army split up, there's basically nothing they can do to stop you. Drac needs to... Yeah. You guys just aren't getting into the... You're still in... We need to overpower them by brute force mode, and you guys should be starting to think about finesse. These turrets, I guess you guys could have got the bunker, but man, I'd be so hesitant to throw turrets there, because it's just wasted score. And inflating range score. And now, with all of that fighting right on top of their bunkers, they're ahead of you, and you guys don't have a tank. And you still haven't merked your bunker, man. You gotta merc those roads.
Yeah, when I looked to merking, because we wanted to get a tank right after that happened, I was like, man, I don't even have a merc yet. Here, I'll just pull you so you can get the tank.
Merking's probably more important than the tank. Also, you guys need to pay attention to the upgrades. And if someone hasn't upgraded in a while, it's usually a sign they're making a tank. Like, keep a loose tab with, like, press V once every minute and a half or so. Or click on their army.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of kind of obvious now, if you guys compare upgrades, that they've got a more optimized build, and B, less overall upgrades than you. Wait, do they have less? Oh no, in cherries. Wow. 13 mage. But this tank can sort of be sussed out. It's kind of hard, but it might have been able to be sussed out. And now you guys don't have any more advantage. Because in cherries, yeah. They've got a much more optimized build than you.
Yeah, at
Like,
this point, we're probably like 1.5k behind too in turrets and shield towers.
Yep, building those extra shield towers cost you, as well as the, yeah. And you still haven't mapped. You should be getting Drac to... No. Drac should not be getting any more upgrades. Because you guys are falling victim to what Oblivion and Toxic Panda were last game. Whereas Entreri and GG Man, like, Entreri's got a big upgrade advantage over you now.
That turret was unnecessary too. I just needed to besiege the tank.
And again, you should be fighting GG Man. Jack should be fighting Entreri. Or not fighting Entreri, but sort of keeping Entreri's army occupied. With the tank, it's doable. And now, you should be looking at avenues to say, how do I get the 2v to switch back on bot left? Because you guys are sort of screwed against top right now. What Entreri did there is quite nice. He used your tank to sort of keep your army unsplit. What was that?
That was a nuke because I saw their tank get in range, and I was worried about losing our tank.
17, I guess, but still, that feels so bad.
It did feel really bad. Like, it was a really bad nuke. I think this is the point where I finally mark. Yeah, there it is.
You got your Fox, man. I need to have your marine marked as well. You're fighting marked units versus unmarked units. Very, very rough. And Drac getting that extra bunk is really costing you guys. Because his army isn't that valuable. And again, no more upgrades from Drac. It's wasted money. Oh, that's a yikes.
Yeah, but Drac was saying too, like, he didn't mean to do this. He was like, oh, maybe I should build a depot. And he misclicked his army down as he was grabbing his SCV to go build a depot on the other side. And that gave them the perfect opportunity to nuke.
Yeah, here's where you start signaling. Here's where you stop, like, trying to defend and start signaling. Because there is actually, there is a real chance right now that the bottom teams might 6v2 top right. They're that ahead in score. Like, after killing this bunker, if I was in Cherry and GG Man, I would stop. I'd slow down and stop. Because I'm terrified if I'm them. Because the bottom teams are relatively equal, and they are way ahead. They're gonna get 4v2'd as soon as you guys die. And maybe even 6v2'd. Okay, this is good from Jack. Yeah, excellent from Jack. Yeah, so Drac doing that right there gets the two teams to agree to a truce. Just doing it a bit earlier might have saved you. Oh no, it does save you. Nice. Good play. Wait, what? Oh man. But right, what are you doing? Roz, what are you doing, man? What was that?
I think they were trying to blame this on Isaiah because
No, it's
well, they were talking about it.
100% Roz's fault for sieging the
Yeah,
tanks there. Because they signaled. They signaled.
Yeah, I agree. But I think they were saying, like, they were both trying to push through mid at the same time, and they ended up meeting, and neither of them wanted to concede ground, so they both just sieged there and started fighting.
Okay, this is Isaiah's fault. But what happened earlier was Roz's fault. For killing their tank. No reason to kill their tank when Top Right is so far ahead. You guys, that... yeah. Okay, look at the upgrades right now. From you guys.
Yeah. Drac was supposed to be the tank player, and he had higher upgrades.
Incredibly inefficient. You guys need to communicate that much earlier in the game. That sort of play, this sort of even upgrades play only works if you guys are the weaker side in the 2v2. Like the weaker 2v2 in the 2v2. So you guys will end up being 4v2ing another guy, and so that army acts it's like, it's not that bad. Because you guys do get you get a slight advantage in the 2v2 right now when you are both even, because you have the 45 supply extra. But it's just so inefficient. Wasted money. Because imagine if Drac pulled you, or if Drac spent that in tanks, he would have had 3 tanks or something able to defend. Or you would have been able to go toe-to-toe with Cherry. Nice. Can you pull this back, maybe?
Two tanks are pretty strong.
Yeah, they are. You should drop a turret right on top of them, though. Stop the army. Like, it's probably not gonna work, but it's something to try.
Yeah, both of my bunkers were full at that point too. If I unloaded both of them, I probably would have had enough supply to do something.
Yeah, that turret is badly placed. It should have
been between... it should have gone on the other side.
It should have gone on the other side.
I'm not sure what Underscore's doing with his tanks here. What is that positioning from Underscore? Holy crap.
Yeah. Top right could know where this to have been. Maybe. Because, what? I don't understand this from bot right. I mean, yeah, I don't understand that play at all. Oh, ghosts. Okay, now I understand it. Okay, why did Isaiah make a ghost?
I have no clue. They just lost a tank to the top side, though.
You don't really have the sort of room to do it right now, but when you're in a position like this, you want to make Reaper bunkers, not Marine bunkers. Like, obviously, you only have the option to make Marine bunkers here because of Underscore's tank positioning, but you want to make Reaper bunkers here.
I absolutely agree with that. And when I tried to put down a Reaper bunker, it got hit by a tank, so I had to cancel it.
Yeah. Under God with the 400 IQ. What are they doing? Why did they take mid? Taking mid was so unnecessary.
Like, at that point, I should have been able to live and get more bunkers up, but the bottom teams couldn't truce to hit top right.
If someone was gonna take mid, it should be bot right, not bot left. Bot left is ahead of bot right. That's just greedy. I can just feel the drama building up watching this game. I can feel the drama building up.
Yeah. Underscore and Isaiah is a great team too.
Wow. And Cherry's army is disgustingly strong. 20 range. Pure rain.
You can probably just fast forward through this. Like,
honestly,
it pretty much just ends the bottom two teams couldn't truce and Cherry snowballs and no one can fight him.
And notice GG Man's upgrades. Like, that's probably even too many upgrades still. But, like, it wasn't what Drac did. Marines are good at killing units. Very good at killing units. Look at that army shred. Okay. Also from GG Man, that Marine bunker in the corner should have been a Reaper.
Yeah. You need the extra building damage.
But also, you're robbing Cherry of a marine space to build. Because Cherry's gonna use the ply in the Reaper spot, and bunkers in the marine slot, and yeah. It's fine to get Rodders though, because GG Man's upgrades are now useful. Sort of. Like, it's better on a Cherry, obviously, but it's still useful. With the Rodder.
His upgrades are almost caught up to bot rates. Apparently there was a point in this game too where Isaiah wanted to build in the tank spot and underscore got mad at him because he wanted to build more tanks. And then they got into a fight where, like, as soon as a tank finished, Isaiah would be trying to steal the tank spot for a bunker. And they were trying to fight over building tanks or building bunkers.
You've already got 6 enemies, why make another one? GG. Okay, so your guy's main mistake was not optimizing your build, you not merking, and getting sort of overconfident, building too many shield towers, and diving too hard, and not building a tank earlier. That's basically what I can think of.
Alright.
And Jack building that extra bunker.